Good morning. We're back. Time now 5 o'clock. Let's get straight to the traffic center right now. George Rask following the latest in Richmond. Reports of a freeway shooting. Good morning, George.
Good morning, James. That's right. Certainly a hot spot if the freeway was shut down, and it had been for a little while on Interstate 580 in the westbound direction. Here's what happened. The CHP received a report from the Richmond Police Department at 411 about the possibility of a shooting. And so at the request of the Richmond Police Department, the CHP started running traffic brakes. They started stopping the ride on Interstate 80 and 580 where the two freeways come together in order to look for spent casings there. None were found, and the CHP has now released all the traffic on Interstate 80 and Interstate 580, eliminating the potential for a serious hotspot for the ride here on the westbound East Shore Freeway or the westbound ride on Interstate 580. Take a look at Traffic Tracker and we'll show you the location. This is it here. So it was on Interstate 80 at 580. This is the merge coming through El Cerrito and Albany. But again, the good news is there are no freeway closures currently, and it's not expected, according to the California Highway Patrol, that they will have to close down the freeway again. So it was a report from Richmond Police Department, and in response to that report, the CHP helped out and did not find any problems. So the freeway is open now, both Interstate 80 and Interstate 580. Good news. A look at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, your westbound ride. Light traffic here, no problems as you head toward the upper deck. And a quick check from San Jose shows the ride here on 101 in the northbound direction, heading up past Trimble de la Cruz with no delay or backup getting into Santa Clara. So again, James, just to repeat, while there had been reports of closures and a freeway shooting around Richmond, Interstate 580 and 80, the freeway now is completely clear and open. James.
George, thank you very much, and we'll visit with you again shortly. In the meantime, another story for you new this morning. Caltrans has opened new southbound lanes on the Benicia Bridge. If you're driving southbound on that bridge, you're going to find the spans a little bit wider now, a little roomier. Drivers will also find 4 lanes of the newly configured section. And besides those extra lanes on the bridge, the southbound drivers from Benicia will also find 2 lanes instead of 1 on that Interstate 780 feeder that you find there. The southbound bridge segment will also have shoulders on both sides with enough room for emergency response vehicles to drive on them, plus a path for bicyclists and pedestrians on the western side. And Google is launching a new marketing campaign today to try to boost its sales of online business applications. The Mountain View-based company is leasing billboards along major highways in San Francisco as well as in New York, Chicago, and Boston. A different message will be displayed each weekday through August, starting with this morning's commute. So you'll see those as you drive out for work this morning. Google has been selling its apps package since 2007, but only recently decided to begin a more aggressive sales campaign. All right, 5:03 is the time. We've talked about traffic. Let's talk about weather now. Evelyn Taft standing by with a look at your work week forecast. Good morning, Ev.
Good morning, James. And we're looking at a similar week in store. Temperatures still below average. 60s around the bay, with 60s primarily by the coast. James.
Evelyn, thank you very much. 5:06 the time. Another headline for you, this time in national news. The fate of the Cash for Clunkers program will be decided as the Senate meets for a final week before the summer break. Adding $2 billion to the Basically Broke program got the green light from the House last week. The administration says it'll have to suspend the wildly popular rebate program unless the Senate goes along. But that's not a sure thing. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. In the meantime, we expect to learn more about Michael Jackson's legal and custody battles this morning. Katherine Jackson is likely to ask for some control now of her son's estate in front of the same judge who's expected to award her permanent guardianship of Michael Jackson's children. Dozens of lawyers are expected to pack the Los Angeles courtroom where the judge will consider, that is, Katherine's challenge of the lawyer and former music executive who have been named executors of Michael Jackson's will. Again, we're following the latest with this. Meanwhile, Katherine and his ex-wife, Debbie Rowe, have reached a custody agreement that will allow now Rowe visitation rights. And we're following the latest, too, on TMZ. Again, just this morning, another storage unit. Let me scroll down here and show you the story here. Another storage unit rented by Michael Jackson's doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, has apparently been the focus of investigators now. This storage unit in Las Vegas, the one they've already searched, was out in Houston, and police at this point are thinking now that Dr. Murray may have had propofol, which is that drug believed to have killed Michael Jackson, stored in the various storage units for shipment to the singer. At this point, no, we don't have any word that police have proof of that, and no word yet if they've actually searched yet this storage unit in Las Vegas that's under the name of Dr. Conrad Murray, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out more information. All right, from here, we've got more details for you this morning. More than 24 people were hurt when a Continental Airlines jet hit turbulence on a flight from Brazil to Texas. Take a look here. The flight was forced to land at Miami International Airport. You can see ambulances driving away from that Continental flight. 4 people, we understand, were seriously injured. Another 22 are in stable condition this morning with some bumps and bruises. Continental Flight 128 was traveling from Rio de Janeiro to Houston with 168 people on board when it was diverted. FAA spokeswoman says the plane landed safely at about 2:30 in the morning Miami time. The plane reportedly hit severe turbulence at about 1:30 this morning. Those not seriously injured will be flown on to Houston, probably on the same flight. But you might recall it was a flight from Rio de Janeiro to France, to Paris, France, that crashed in the coast crashed in the ocean off of the Brazilian coast. It was believed to have hit some serious turbulence too, so some very interesting developments this morning. All right, 5:09 is the time. We've got to take a quick break here, but we'll be back with more in just a moment, so stay with us. Let's go outside, give you a live look this morning. Again, a shot of 80 through Albany, and it was on Interstate 80 in Richmond this morning where there were reports of shots fired on the freeway. The CHP got involved. Richmond police was there. They had a traffic break. It was a hot spot for a bit. We'll get the latest with George coming up in just a moment.